Jet Audio presents Midnight in Moscow, a memoir from the front lines of Russia's war against the West. Written by John J. Sullivan, former U.S. ambassador to Russia. Read by John J. Sullivan and Matt Godfrey. For my wife, Grace.
Forward. Long before he arrived at Spaso House in Moscow as the new U.S. ambassador to Russia in early 2020, John Sullivan was a true exemplar of excellence, as a public servant and as a citizen. In his principled service to 5 U.S. presidents during an increasingly challenging series of positions, John was also continuing a family tradition. His father and several uncles were veterans of World War II and had a deeply embedded sense of service. Ambassador William Sullivan, John's uncle, was a revered member of the Foreign Service. He not only served as U.S. ambassador to Laos, the Philippines, and Iran, but was a Navy man in World War II whose ship, the USS Hambleton, participated in the Normandy invasion. John comes by his patriotism and his mighty heart for service quite honestly. It is unsurprising, but nevertheless noteworthy, that John was one of very few Trump appointees asked to remain in his post by the incoming Biden administration, a decision which reflected enormous trust in John's leadership and loyalty. In Midnight in Moscow, John Sullivan takes us inside his most demanding assignment, U.S. ambassador to Russia. While there is never an uncomplicated time in the U.S. Russia relationship, readers will learn John's perspectives from a particularly eventful period, whose challenges include the rise of COVID-19, the chaos of the 2020 election transition in the U.S., the death of Mikhail Gorbachev, the Brittany Griner detention, the SolarWinds hack, the constant efforts by the Russian government to undermine his mission, and, most important, Russia's inexorable march to war in Ukraine, and the resulting support for Ukraine from the U.S. and our allies. Starting life as a pugnacious Irishman in Boston turned out to be excellent preparation for John's amazing career, and his cheerful determination to capably manage tough challenges comes through on every page. The roster of public servants who have held that ambassadorial post in Moscow includes names like George Kennan and Averell Harriman, and John has earned a place in the same sentence as those celebrated gentlemen.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?